Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, March the 31st, the year 2014. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. As we are ready for the Final Four, the matchups are set. It will be the Florida Gators against the UConn Huskies and the Wisconsin Badgers against the Kentucky Wildcats. What a tremendous weekend of college basketball. I hope you guys caught some of the games. It was really fabulous drama. Let's recap it real quick for you. First of all, Florida beat UCLA and then they beat Dayton. To me, it's Florida's tournament to lose. I think Florida is still the best team. On the other side, UConn. How about UConn? They beat Iowa State at Madison Square Garden and then they come back and beat Michigan State 60-54 in a tremendous game. The fans in Madison Square Garden were great, really pro-UConn house. I mean, Michigan State was well represented as well, but it was a UConn house. Make no mistake about it. What a job by Connecticut this year. Did anyone think Connecticut was going to make the Final Four? Just a few weeks ago, Connecticut lost to Louisville like 80-40. Nobody in the world thought Connecticut was going to get on this kind of run. How about Napier? How good of a player is he? He's been on absolute fire in this tournament. And you know what this does? You know what this does with Connecticut getting to the Final Four? It solidifies Kevin Ollie as a good basketball coach. Kevin Ollie follows Jim Calhoun as coach of Connecticut. Jim Calhoun is a legend. Built Connecticut, won 3 national titles. Just a legend in Connecticut basketball. You never want to be the man that follows the man. That's what Kevin Ollie was here. I mean, he had a really tough job. I mean, not easy following Jim Calhoun. And here he is in the Final Four. Shocks Michigan State. I mean, I never thought Connecticut was going to beat Michigan State. And everybody on ESPN picked Michigan State to win this tournament. UConn being in the Final Four is an absolute shock to me. I never saw this coming, especially a few weeks ago when Louisville beat them by about 40 points. Tremendous job by Connecticut. Napier, outstanding job. And Kevin Ollie, he can coach. All right, over to the other side. Wisconsin and Kentucky. Wisconsin blew out Baylor. Typical Baylor. They're up, they're down. So frenetic. They were awful against Wisconsin. And then Wisconsin beats Arizona 64-63 in overtime in a great game. Tremendous game. So happy for Bo Ryan, the coach of Wisconsin, that he gets to a Final Four. He's been knocking on the door for a while. He's a really solid basketball coach. Wisconsin is very fundamentally sound each and every year. Really nice job by the Badgers. How about Kaminsky? How about this player Kaminsky for Wisconsin? He was unbelievable over the weekend. Tremendous job by him. What a player. Tremendous player he is. Really like the job Wisconsin did over the weekend. Remember, Arizona was the #1 seed, so nice job by Wisconsin knocking them off. And Kentucky. Kentucky was written off by so many people this year, including me. They struggled all year. They were saying at the beginning of the year this was the best freshman class in basketball history. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Kentucky wasn't even in the top 25 at the end of the year. They were an 8 seed. They were in the toughest bracket. And what did they do? They beat Kansas State. Then they beat undefeated Wichita State. Then over the weekend, they come from the depths to beat Louisville. They're down by 7 points with 4 minutes to go against their arch rival and defending champion Louisville. And Kentucky finds a way with all those freshmen to dig down deep and win that game. Then they come back and win a game against a very good Michigan team to get to the Final Four. Listen, a lot of people don't like John Calipari. He can be smug, he can be arrogant, I understand all that. Give him his due. He's taken 3 teams to the Final Four. He's won a national title at Kentucky. Should have won a national title at Memphis. Memphis totally blew that game to Kansas years ago. And he does it with all freshmen. Kentucky plays 7 freshmen. How about Harrison with all these huge shots? What a job by Kentucky. Just a tremendous job. I never saw this coming. I never saw at the beginning of the tournament Connecticut or Kentucky making it. Florida, yes, of course. I still think they're the best team. Wisconsin, you know, you can see Wisconsin making it. But Kentucky and UConn, especially since Kentucky was in the toughest bracket with all those freshmen, and UConn lost by 40 points just a few weeks ago to Louisville. It's amazing. These teams get on these runs and they just cannot be stopped. Should be really a tremendous Final Four. Florida and Kentucky, obviously the favorites. The Final Four, by the way, in Dallas. Dallas Cowboys Stadium should be a record crowd there. I mean, should be a tremendous crowd there. It's funny, when you look at these matchups, I think Florida's going to beat Connecticut, and I think Kentucky's going to beat Wisconsin. You could have in the title game Florida and Kentucky for the 4th time this year, and Florida's won the first 3 times. You know how they always say in the NFL it's hard to beat a team like 3 times in a row? Well, Florida might have to beat Kentucky 4 times this year. And here's another thing. Florida lost 2 games this year. Believe it or not, they were to UConn and Wisconsin, 2 teams that are left in the Final Four. So we have a lot of drama yet to go in this tournament. I mean, yeah, I like Florida and Kentucky to get to the title game. What does that mean? You don't know what's going to happen in these games. I mean, these teams get on runs. We've seen it before. We've seen it with George Mason. We've seen it with Butler. I mean, we've seen it with Wichita State. I mean, we've seen it a bunch of times where these teams get on runs and they cannot be stopped. So I thought the basketball over the weekend was tremendous. I thought it was great. I mean, I really enjoy this tournament. I hope you guys caught some of these games. Like I said, I like Florida over UConn on Saturday and Kentucky over Wisconsin. And then for the title game on Monday, I like Florida to beat Kentucky in a very close game. I mean, Kentucky is starting to peak at the right time. Now, I didn't want to spend too much time on this, but I have to mention it. I cannot stand the broadcasting teams for this tournament. They have mixed and matched the NBA and the college, broadcasters for this tournament. It's driving me absolutely crazy. They have Jim Nantz, who's a staple for the NCAA tournament. They have him with Greg Anthony and Steve Kerr, who are more NBA guys. Then you got Len Elmore and Reggie Miller with Kevin Harlan, another bizarre matchup. Then in the studio, you got Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Clark Kellogg with Gumbel. Then you got on another side, Ernie Johnson, Steve Smith, Grant Hill, Seth Davis, Doug Gottlieb. They have the NBA guys intertwined with the college guys. There's no chemistry. It's just driving me absolutely crazy. And I can't take any more of Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith with the jokes. Every second they're trying to out-zing each other. I mean, enough is enough. Then Clark Kellogg is on the team with them. Clark Kellogg looks totally uncomfortable. He doesn't know what to say there. I mean, you got Kenny Smith and Charles Barkley, kind of making fun of each other the whole time. Clark Kellogg's trying to talk serious basketball. He can't get a word in. I mean, enough already. And Charles Barkley, he's got to tone down this act. Charles Barkley was a fabulous player. He's a Hall of Famer. He won a gold medal for Team USA. But his act at halftime, I mean, please, can we talk basketball? Does it have to be nonstop jokes? And then on top of it, when they go to commercial, it's nothing but Charles Barkley commercials again with his Capital One card. He's ordering pretzels and all this other stuff. Enough already. I can't take it the way they mixed and matched these commentators. I mean, the NBA guys mixed with the college guys. It's just weird. It's almost like in college football they would take Kirk Herbstreit and put him with, an NFL team, with the Aikman and Buck. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then here's another thing. During the Florida-Dayton game, Florida was up by about 8 points with like 5 minutes to go. And Len Elmore goes, we are going to see now if Florida is satisfied making the Elite Eight, or do they really want to get to the Final Four? Listen, I like Len Elmore, but Len Elmore, are you feeling all right? Are you crazy? I mean, why in the world would you say something like that? This Florida group has been knocked out in the Elite Eight the last 3 years in heartbreaking fashion. They're dying to get back to the Final Four. They want to win a championship. They're the favorite to do so. They've been ranked number 1 for a while. And Len Elmore goes, do you think Florida is going to be satisfied with the Elite Eight, or are they going to push it up to another level to get to the Final Four? And Reggie Miller agrees with them. Reggie Miller agrees with them. Are you guys insane? I mean, come on. I mean, you think Florida up 8 with 5 minutes to go is satisfied they're an Elite Eight over Dayton? I mean, Len Elmore, give us a break already. I don't know what he was thinking there. And Reggie Miller agreed with him. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, you have got to be kidding me. With a trip to the Final Four on the line, Florida would be satisfied with that? I mean, come on. I mean, what are you guys talking about? If Florida doesn't win a national title this year, they're going to be devastated. Oh, my goodness. Len Elmore, clueless. Reggie Miller, clueless. Kevin Holland, he's all over the place as well. And I don't want to hear Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith at halftime the college basketball game zinging each other. Enough already. Enough with the jokes. I can't take it. All right, so that's my little rant. I didn't want to go, too crazy on the announcers. The announcers usually don't bother me. It's all about the games for me, and the games were fabulous. But, I mean, after a while with these announcers, and they mix and match the NBA and the jokes and the wacky comments, enough already. I can't take it. All right, so that was my little rant about the college basketball. Should be fabulous stuff coming up this Saturday for the Final Four and the championship game next Monday. I still like Florida to win it all. Believe it or not, today is the opening day of Major League Baseball, and here in New York, we had snow this morning. Yes, we're almost in April, and we had more snow. We have had the worst winter in history. It has been snowing, cold, icy, and wintry for about 6-7 months now. I can't take any more of this. And I'm not one of these guys that hates the changes of the seasons. I don't mind the changing of the seasons. But now it's time to get some spring weather in here. Give me about 60 degrees. Give me some sun. More snow today, more ice. I mean, give me a break. Enough is enough. And today is the opening day of the Major League Baseball season. The Mets have their home opener. That should go well today. Imagine if you're trucking out to Citi Field today and you're stuck in a snowstorm. I mean, what a joke. So there is a lot of baseball going on today. The Dodgers actually played last night, their third game of the year. They actually blew a game to San Diego. Nice come-from-behind win by San Diego. Today, if you want to watch baseball on ESPN or ESPN2, there are games all day. Now, these are Eastern Standard Time times. 1 o'clock, you got Cubs and Pirates on ESPN. 3 o'clock, you got Boston, Baltimore on ESPN2. 4 o'clock, you got St. Louis and Cincinnati on ESPN. Those two teams do not like each other. You might want to watch that one. 7 o'clock on ESPN2, Colorado, Miami. And then 10 o'clock on ESPN2 as well, Seattle and the Angels. You have wall-to-wall baseball. Opening day is always a fun day in the baseball season. Listen, the baseball season is way too long. It goes from March to November. It's insane long. It just never ends. But there are certain days you want to tune in. I think this is one of them. Opening day, the new start of the season. Today is a day you want to watch some baseball. Plus, the tournament is on the basketball tournament's on a little bit of a break. NBA very light night tonight. NHL very light night. You're not getting much in those those two sports, so you might want to watch some baseball tonight. Like I said, light night in the NBA. Keep an eye on that Indiana-Miami race. I thought Indiana sewed it up with the win over Miami last week. Then they came back and dropped a couple games. So Miami's only a game out. They don't have the tiebreaker, though, Miami. So Indiana's still in good shape. But, they're starting to hang on now. They did drop a couple. And I think if Indiana has any chance of beating Miami in the playoffs, they have to have home court. So keep an eye on that. NHL, we're coming down the home stretch. If you're an NHL team and you're sitting there in that 8th, 9th spot, you got to make your move right now. As far as over the weekend, I did catch some boxing. I watched Kovalev beat Agnew. I'll tell you. You want to see a really nice boxer in the light heavyweight division? Check out this Kovalev. He can really swat. He is a good fighter. Very exciting. He stopped Agnew. Look for Kovalev to have some big fights down the road. So I did catch some boxing. And I've been trying to follow the never-ending, carousel of NFL players changing teams. Now the Eagles cut Deshaun Jackson. Who knows where he winds up? I think he's meeting with the Redskins. I mean, all these players have changed teams during the year. I can't keep up with it. So many players are on different teams, but I have been watching some of the NFL movement, and of course the draft is coming up as well. Okay, you guys are all caught up. Like I said, I hope you guys caught some of the fabulous basketball over the weekend. It was tremendous drama. The games on Saturday should be great. Next Monday as well. Unfortunately, this week I will not have Mr. Joe Spano here. Mr. Joe Spano from Sirius Satellite Radio was supposed to join me this week. He had a recent death in his family, so he's been very busy with personal matters. Our condolences go out to the Spano family. So I will not have Joe here this week. We will get him back soon. I promise you, you will see Joe soon enough. I will be back with you guys next Tuesday after the championship game. We'll recap the Final Four, the championship game. We'll touch on the early season in baseball. We'll see where we are in the NBA and the NHL as we're winding down those two seasons. And of course, the Masters is coming up. The Kentucky Derby is coming up. We got a lot of stuff on the horizon. We'll get to all of it. You guys, enjoy your week. Today's a baseball day. You might want to check out the rest of the week, NBA, NHL, little NIT. And then over the weekend, more college basketball. Should be great. I will talk to you guys really soon, probably next Tuesday. You guys enjoy the games. Stay safe. Talk to you in about a week. Take care.